So just like we said, I said curiosity later, but what you have is to have keep a constant open eye to the possibilities. Continually open yourself to, that's interesting, I wonder what might come of that. Okay? Next thing, connect with others with vested interest in your success. And how do you collaborate that? Your clients, your customers, they have a vested interest in your success. If they've been doing business with you for a long time, you know, I've had people say so often, this business would be really great if it wasn't for all those damn customers. Because that's how we feel at times. We really don't want it because they're such pains in the neck. But the bottom line is our customers are vested in our success. They want us to succeed. This is an ideal time, this kind of economy, to open yourself to collaborating with your customers. Find ways to give them things other than discounts that would make you more valuable to them. Find out what they're all about. Best way, by the way, the best way to market is never to talk, but to listen first. What is it that's going on in your life, my dear customer? What's happening? What are your pains? Because those will create opportunities for you. Okay? So collaborative. You cannot fake it. Although, you know, I used to work for the National Broadcasting Company, and I actually sold advertising time, which is the equivalent of selling air, literally. Our motto was sell vaguely with enthusiasm. It works. It works. All right, let's talk about tech savvy. So clearly, what I'm suggesting is that you need to be social media conscious. You need to be aware of the technology. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm not a great believer in social media. Social media is what you do after you figure out who you are and what you want to achieve. Right? Social media is a tool to do what you want to do. It is not the thing that drives your business. So the first question you need to, oh, so you're welcome. Because for small business people, that's a really tough thing because you think you should be doing all these things. Never do anything technological unless you first understand A, the benefit. No, let me rephrase that. B, the benefit, and A, the penalty. In other words, the cost of getting involved, the cost of getting it wrong. Sometimes it's better not to do something until you actually know what you're doing. So when I talk about tech savvy, what I'm really talking about is two very fundamental ideas. The first one is using whatever software exists that helps my business do what it does. That simple technology. Software, if it exists, or technology, if it exists, that helps my basic business be better. Before you jump on the social media bandwagon and all the other stuff, get it right first. So if you're an accountant, is there some accounting software that lets you be more efficient, more effective, whatever it might be? Okay? If you're a doctor, same thing. Then worry about the other stuff. So pay attention to that. The second one, believe it or not, is the simple act of getting your website right. A lot of us create websites because we've been told we ought to have a website. Do we know what it is? No. Do we know what it's supposed to do? No. Did we really take more than a moment to think about it? No. And if we did, would we have a clue as to what we should know or not know? The answer generally is no. You need to understand what your website is for, first and foremost. Ask yourself the basic questions. What's it going to do for me? Okay, what do I want it to do for me? Understand that basically your business, your website can be a number of different aspects. Number one, it gives you some exposure. But if you don't say anything meaningful on your website, that's not exposure. That's actually bad for business. I've had instances of clients who have had websites paid for, developed, and then when a prospect goes on their website saying, oh, I see what you do, I don't need you. That's not what's supposed to happen. Right? So pay attention to your website. Why a website? Why am I banging on websites? The website is the great leveler. You can be a global business of 10 people if you have the right website. You can create opportunities all over the universe if you do it right. But first, think about what it's supposed to do. Then worry about how it looks, which is generally not the order in which we take these things. We generally spend a lot of time saying, look at that, that's cool. By the way, the worst websites, the worst websites are typically by advertising agencies. They are so cool. They are so hot. You can't even get on them. You can't get anything you want out of them because you're so busy running things that you don't really need. Okay? So website and fundamental software, that's the technology you need to focus on. Don't get crazy. Don't try to bite off more than you can more you can bite. Eat. Using email, by the way, is something that is very, very good because, again, it creates the sense that you are bigger than you are. There's something strange about email. If you call me on the phone, you're just a voice on the phone. If I get an email, especially it has one of those pretty little slugs in your logo and all that wonderful stuff, I have the sense that you're an important company. That's what the website, that's what the technology, that's what email is all about. Giving people a sense that you are more credible than you actually are. See? What else can we tell you about technology? Recognize the importance of core technologies, but prioritize any investment in technology with the hard questions. What's it going to do for me? How is it going to help? And how much investment? You know, there's an old story that says, if you go to war, you better be prepared for the whole war, not the first 6 months. In picking technology, it's the same deal. Don't say to yourself, well, it's only a little software, you know, we can do that. Yeah, well, what's the long-term costs? What are the implications? Because when you commit, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. If you don't recognize that, you could be at a disadvantage rather than an advantage. Okay? Also recognize the idea, sorry about that, that, you should never do anything simply because people say you should technologically. Never do it simply because there's a pressure on. Don't you have Twitter presence? Don't you have Facebook presence? Have you really been to Twitter or Facebook lately? What the heck is it all about? I'll tell you one thing. We did some research in another project, and we came to understand something. It was a piece about millennials. Millennials are people under 30. How many of you are millennials? Okay, what did we discover? What we discovered is that millennials love Facebook, hate Twitter. Hate Twitter. You know why? Because Facebook, you get to invite people. You get to choose who shows up on your door. Twitter is an invasion by corporate America. So be careful about these things. All right, understand the convergence of personal and professional technologies. Some of the stuff that you use, for example, your cute little cell phone, is actually a powerful business tool if you use it right. So you don't have to run out and buy professional grade things today. You know, when I was in broadcasting, it was like $250,000 for a camera. This camera is capable of doing everything that camera is capable of doing and costs a heck of a lot less. Your cell phone is a very powerful tool if you just take the time to really understand what it's capable of doing relative to your business. And the fact that you can use it for both your business and your personal, hooray, then you don't have to walk around with 6 different phones, okay? And most importantly, recognize that technology can be just as invasive and disruptive as it can be contributory. Because you spend a lot of time and energy and fuss and bother focusing on something that may or may not be of value, it might actually be detrimental in the long run. All right, I talked about the fact that you have to be future focused. You have to know where you're going. In a business sense, that means a number of things. The first thing it means, there's no point in being future focused unless you're working hard to put away enough money to be able to take advantage of opportunities towards the future.